So we're going to finish our story now, guys. Before we do, though, I'm going to ask you some questions after we read our summaries. So our summaries is we have Dorothy sees a cornfield with the Scarecrow. She stops along the road of yellow brick and meets a Scarecrow that talks. The Scarecrow asks Dorothy for help because he's stuck on a pole. Dorothy rescues the Scarecrow and he's grateful for her help. So here's some questions I have for you. Where is Dorothy traveling to and why? Well, if you remember, Dorothy is traveling to the Emerald City because she wants to get home. She's from Kansas. Now, see if you can fill in this blank. The Scarecrow tells Dorothy he does not have a what? Well, that he doesn't have a very good time being stuck up on this pole. Now, he asks Dorothy what? He asks Dorothy if he can help her, and Dorothy says yes. So now that we have that, let's head to our next paragraphs. So we're going to finish our story now. And we're going to be focusing, since it's our first read through, of annotating, putting those key details with our next number. And if you remember, we end up on number 5. Who are you? Asked the Scarecrow when he had stretched himself and yawned. And where are you going? My name is Dorothy, said the girl, and I'm going to the Emerald City to ask the Great Oz to send me back to Kansas. So in this paragraph, Dorothy states directly who she is, where she is going, and why she's traveling there. So I'm going to underline these details, or I can put my numbers next to them. So I'm going to put this as number 6, but because it's so important, it's kind of the reason for Dorothy in this story, I'm also going to highlight it. Paragraph 17. Where is the Emerald City? He inquired. And who is Oz? Why, don't you know? She returned in a surprise. No, indeed. I don't know anything. You see, I'm stuffed, so I have no brains at all, he answered, sadly. Oh, Dorothy said. I'm awfully sorry for you. I can learn about the Scarecrow from this conversation you just had with Dorothy. For one thing, the Scarecrow doesn't know about the Emerald City and Oz. Also, he doesn't have a brain that might explain why he doesn't know much about the world. I'm going to underline these details. I have no brains at all. And then I'm also going to put that, because if you've ever seen the movie, you know him not having a brain is going to be an important part to the story. I can put that as our important event number 6. So now, I can summarize what's just happened. What's just happened is Dorothy is traveling to the Emerald City, where she'll ask the Great Oz to help her get home to Kansas. She meets the Scarecrow and learns that he doesn't have a brain. So that's going to be my summary right here. Let me try this. There we go. And I'm going to shrink it down and then change it to my font size 16. Now on to paragraph 21. Do you think, he asked, if I go to Emerald City with you, that Oz would give me some brains? I cannot tell, she returned, but you may come with me if you like. If Oz will not give you any brains, you will be no worse off than you are now. That is true, said the Scarecrow. You see, he continued confidently, I don't mind my legs and my arms and body being stuffed, because I cannot get hurt. If anyone treads on my toes or sticks a pin in me, it doesn't matter, for I can't feel it. But I do not want people to call me a fool. And if my head stays stuffed with straw instead of with brains, as yours is, how am I ever going to know anything? I understand how you feel, said the little girl, who was truly sorry for him. If you come with me, I'll ask Oz to do all that he can for you. Thank you, he answered gratefully. So, in 21 and 22, were there any key events that you saw in there? So, some key events that I saw, let me zoom out so we can see the whole thing. He's going to now join her to the wizard. He says, do you think he can give me some? So, I'm going to put that as our next event. As number 8, he wants these brains that he's lacking. Now, what did we learn about the characters from the dialogue in paragraphs 22 to 25? Well, what we learned is that the Scarecrow doesn't want people to think he's dumb, basically. He said he doesn't want people to call me a fool. So that's why he wants his brain. he wants to appear smart. So we're going to put that as our summary for this part. And remember, I'm going to use my, where did you go? My dictate function. The Scarecrow asks if he thinks the Wizard of Oz will give him some brains, period. He does not want people to think that he is dumb. And so he wants brains so that he will know things, period. Dorothy says it doesn't hurt to ask, period. So that is my summary. And it basically is reminding me of what the Scarecrow is going to be doing during his journey. We know Dorothy wants to get back home, and now I know why the Scarecrow is going to be doing. So now let's head on to paragraphs 21 to 31 and see what we have for this ending part. And let me zoom in so we can see it a little better. Oh, and there's our picture of them wonderfully trotting along. They walked back down the road. Oh, oops, did I skip? No, I didn't. Whew, I got a little worried there. They walked back down the road. Dorothy helped him over the fence, and they started along the path of yellow brick for the Emerald City. Toto did not like this addition to the party at first. I don't know who Toto is, but looking at this, I see there's the Scarecrow and Dorothy, and then I see, remember, there's this third guy. So that third guy must be Toto, in case I forgot. Toto did not like this addition to the party at first. He smelled around the stuffed man as if he suspected there might be a nest of rats in the straw, and he often growled in an unfriendly way at the Scarecrow. "Don't mind Toto," said Dorothy to her new friend. "He never bites." "Oh, I'm not afraid," replied the Scarecrow. "He can't hurt the straw. Do let me carry that basket for you. I shall not mind it, for I can't get tired. I'll tell you a secret," he continued as he walked along. "There's only one thing in the world I'm afraid of." "What is that?" asked Dorothy. "The Munchkin farmer who made you?" "No," answered the Scarecrow. "It's a lighted match." So this is an important part. What is a lighted match? Well, to me, that sounds like fire. So I'm going to put a little note here. And why might he be afraid of fire? Probably because he's made of straw, and it could burn him very quickly. So now that we've done this, let's see if there's any important events here, or key details. So we have some characterization of Toto. We have Toto did not like this addition to the party. But we're not really getting any more really key events. Just that they've started walking along. So let me see what number we ended off on. We ended off on 8. So that means this would be 9. Just that they continue their journey. And that he shares a secret with her. Those are what I think our important events are for this story. For this section right here. Because the rest is really just giving us information about him. We know that the Scarecrow, I'm going to underline my details that describe him. We know that the Scarecrow can't get tired. So looking at all this now, let's put this together for our summary. So this is the summary that I have, and I'm going to continue it a little bit. It says, the two agree to travel together. The Scarecrow confides, which I like that word, it means tells a secret to Dorothy, and tells her about his fear of fire. So that is my summary that I have for this. Notice I don't do one for each on this one because, why? Well, because there really wasn't as many important events for this. It was just more characterization. It's just more of them telling us about how Toto's acting about the Scarecrow. And our summary is going to focus more on those key details. So that is what we have for this. So I want you, before we leave, I want you to see about these next two things. How can we use this in our writing this week? And notice the dialogue also is describing what? Describing our characters. So we have this. Don't mind Toto, he never bites. That's describing that she's probably a gentle dog. He may seem tough, but he's actually pretty easy and chilled and relaxed.